Marketing TV. My name is Jeff Ogden, the host of the show, and we're really excited to have another great guest for you. And you know, most of our shows have been with marketing experts, but we're doing something different today. We have one of the top sales experts in the country going to join us today. So let's meet Colleen. Colleen Francis, who's the president of Engaged Selling, is with us today, and she's going to talk about how to create a sales culture that works in your organization. She is one of the top 5 sales consulting organizations on the market today, according to Sales and Marketing Magazine. So let's bring Colleen onto the show. Hi, Colleen.
Hi.
Hey, glad to have you on the show. I'm excited to have you here. Always good to have a top sales expert on the show. So, you know, I think one of the things I want to start off with is just how tough it is for sales out there. Because, you know, I think before we jump into some of the topics of improvement, it might be good for you to share just how much the world of sales has changed recently with the advent of self-education and, you know, sales getting involved so late. So what is your take on, you know, what is the world of sales as you see it today?
Well, that is such a great question because sales is changing dramatically in all sizes of organizations and in all markets that we're serving, you know, around North America, Europe, and Asia. What we are seeing is that the biggest change, I guess, is that leads are coming into the pipe better educated and further along the sales cycle. And so where it used to be a salesperson would pick up the phone, make a cold call, and start the qualification process, what's happening right now is that leads are coming into the pipeline already self-qualified because they've done research, they've looked for you online, they've read your marketing materials. So marketing teams are doing a fabulous job of getting that pre-qualification done. And sales teams need to pick up the ball later along in the sales cycle and get those deals closed. Leads are also coming to salespeople from all sorts of non-traditional sources, which can make it a little bit more challenging for them to move them through the sales process and continue to add them to the pipeline if they don't have, if they don't work to transition their skills.
That's interesting, Colleen. I see how much the world has changed since I was in sales, you know, 15, 20 years ago, before everyone had these broadband connections and websites were mature and everything. But I know you've got some interesting ideas and tips, particularly around managing and coaching and managing the metrics. So what is some of your advice that companies can use to improve results today?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, we have to recognize that sales are coming to us, or leads are coming to us at different stages in the pipeline. And so we need to make sure that our pipelines are accurate, but that we're also understanding where our sales team shooting their time. So we had looked at some research, and if you want to maybe throw that first slide up there, you can see that in the past, salespeople used to spend all of their time if you look at the 2 columns on the right and the left, the next slide, I guess it probably is. That one just looks blank. I'll just wait for the slide to pop up. There we go. Perfect. So what we're seeing here, and the numbers on the left are for decision influencers, and the numbers on the right are for executive level decision makers. Why this is important is because the first thing that sales leaders need to do is make sure that they're tracking and measuring the right activities for the sales team. So that informal information gathering, peer engagement, industry conversations, online questions, these are the things that are driving sales leads. So if I had a sales team that was just focused on making cold calls, for example, I would now in this marketplace start to want to transition their activities to make sure that they were getting involved in peer conversations. How much networking are they doing, for example? Are my sales teams members of industry associations where they can be a part of that industry conversation? Are they really setting themselves up as experts? I think you could simplify the change in the sales process right now by saying in the past it used to be if I know you, then I can start to like you, and then I might start to trust you. But also show me proof. Are you an expert in the business that we're in. Can you help me solve my problem? So I think it's really important for sales and marketing leaders to make sure that they know where their leads are coming from so they can manage the activities properly. The second thing that I think is really important, and if you want to throw the next slide up there, is understanding the ratios. So these are the most recent numbers from Marketing Sherpa, which I'm sure almost everybody on this call is familiar with. But what this is saying to us is in the current sales cycle, when people come to us and we start to transition them from contacts to leads to qualified to closes, there's certain percentage or certain benchmarks that you can count on. For example, we know that, if you look here on the bottom, 38% of contacts become leads, 39% of leads become qualified, and 29% of qualified become sales. And so I'm always looking at pipeline rigor with my sales leader coaching clients to say, are you tracking ahead or are you tracking behind these numbers?
Thanks, Colleen. That's some pretty interesting information. And I think you make a really good point about demonstrating. The two takeaways I get from what you just said are demonstrate your expertise, you know, not just build relationships, and use a scientific approach. Right? Manage the numbers, you know, do it more scientifically than just the feel for it. But what are the top 2 or 3 things you would advise sales managers to think about today?
Well, one thing is, do you have the right people on your team? Many sales managers make the mistake of hiring the wrong people, and because they base their decision to hire on gut. What I would really encourage you to do is this. Decide what are the activities that you need your salespeople to do. For example, if you sell highly complex, multi-million-dollar software solutions to highly regulated industries, do you have people on your sales team who are used to long sales cycle, who have a high attention to detail, who can build long-term relationships and not get bored easily? Because hiring somebody who's used to a really quick turnaround, a few $1,000s and lots of sales every month is going to be a big mistake no matter how successful that person is, simply because the activities required in each of those 2 sales environments are very different. So make sure that you have the right people for the right activities that you need. That's really critical. Number 2, make sure that your team is following a well-defined sales process or sales model. So what I like to see is a pipeline that's being developed where at every single day that your sales team is at work, every week at least, they're doing things to put things into the pipeline at different stages. Of course, we always want to be adding opportunities into the top of the pipeline, but then are they moving those opportunities down from each stage? So from qualified into, maybe your next stage is a proposal has been sent, into the next stage, which might be negotiation. Because if your pipeline is stagnant, then ultimately your sales are stagnant and can't grow. The third thing is I would be looking for ways as a sales leader to transform my team from transactional to solution-based selling or transactional to high-value selling by constantly asking, how are we adding value to our clients? Really 2 ways to increase your sales inside a territory, and that is to sell more to existing customers or to bring on net new customers. And so some of our clients are looking for ways to sell more to their existing customer base by adding value. How can we roll out additional products and services? How can we one-time sale into true account dominance? How can we move from just selling to the VP of marketing to also the VP of ops? Do my solutions fit both in a sales environment and an HR environment, a telesales environment and an outside sales environment, for example?
That's some pretty apt advice, making sure you have the right people on your team, that you follow a well-defined sales process, and you look at the pipeline and especially movement through the pipeline, and really look at your market and make sure you're selling value rather than transactions. Great advice. Now, if people on the call want to learn more about you and your company and how to get in touch with you, Colleen, how would they go about doing that?
Oh, it's really easy. All they have to do is go to selling.com, and they can take advantage of all sorts of free resources that we offer to help both sales leaders and individuals selling professionals. If you're an individual contributor, you can click on the articles and read all the articles. Of course, our blog is posted there as well, including some other free teleseminars, webinars, and white papers. So it's engageselling.com.
Thanks, Colleen. You've been a great guest on the show, and we'd really love to have you. So I would say everyone who's on the call, go to engageselling.com. Check out the great content there. Check out the white papers and various other information there, and engage with Colleen and her team, and really look at how they can help you. So until next time on Mad Marketing TV, get out there and book some business.